first weekend, I believe, in November.
Yeah. We have one actually this 16th, but I think we do on October 30th.
I don't know about October 30th. I know we're supposed to have a live, but that's okay. When right at 5 o'clock is when we should start listening for the kids and the candy, and we may have to adjust the time. Or potentially adjust the day. But we'll let you know ahead of time.
Yes.
We may want to be downtown. It's right in the middle of.
Oh, we can take it 3 weeks.
Okay. We got 3 people watching. Boom.
3 eyeballs?
We got 3 eyeballs. And we are live. Hola.
Hey, I'm always happy when I'm on this side of the dirt. That's a great way to start
Yes.
the day.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. Our 3 viewers.
6.
We have 6. How is everyone tonight?
Of course, that 6 could be 3 because, Annie Bet and they put it on TV and on their phone. So, I mean.
Oh, you guys are killing. You're killing.
I'm just.
So, hey, I should move over some more. So I'm a little better centered. There we go. Still see all the boxes in the background, but that's okay. What you gonna do? Okay, well, we have had a really busy 2 weeks. It's the last time we sat here and had this chat.
That is a true statement.
It's been a roller coaster.
Are we there? Is anybody there?
Yeah, they're there.
Okay. I'm
on chat right now.
I'm just normally somebody says hello. Okay.
Well, I guess we could check. I mean, I did send a message. Yeah, there we go.
There you go.
Happy to be one of the
All
3.
right, now,
Yay, Stephanie.
thank you, Stephanie, for reassuring us that there is somebody actually out there.
Oh, now it's 7. So let's see. So 2 weeks ago, we had all these kittens. Well, we had 2.
Yeah, I think at that point we'd had 2 because I think Boots both us the day before.
Both us had passed away, and we had 2.
Yep.
And we did find a home for the tabby cat.
Oh, yeah.
And she had the cat for about a week. Her son had some kind of contact dermatitis from the kitten. So tabby cat came back to us. So we had 2 kittens. And let's just say that having kittens that young, when you have to feed them every 3 or 4 hours minimum, it's really a lot of work. It's like having a baby at home. And
the feeding, then the constant, I want to be in your lap. And then they don't take no for an answer, and they crawl up your pants leg. And they have little hypodermics for claws at that age, and it just was like,
I mean, they were adorable and they loved to snuggle, but they wanted to snuggle and be under my neck and just purring all the time. It made it really hard for me to do anything else. And so video editing and things like that kind of fell to the side. I mean, I'm literally working on this weekend's video right now when I normally try to have things a couple weeks in advance. So it's fine. I love them. They were adorable and cute, but the weather had been rainy.
If they were going to be here, they picked the perfect time to be here because it was so wet that we really could not go anywhere because we couldn't count on the weather being good enough. So that being said, the timing was right. And then them leaving because Mary from Furry Tales, Oaxaca, fortunately found a host for them.
And the host took both of them.
So
she homed both of the kittens. I'm happy that they're with someone who.
And I'm happy that they're together because, they've grown up together. I mean, as far as they've grown, but
Yeah.
they're attached to one another because we leave them running around outside and you'd see the two of them
right.
either playing with each other or huddled beside each other. I mean, it was like
They would sleep with each other.
Yeah, they were joined.
It was just one of those things where, typically when you are a tourist and you're staying somewhere for a month or less, you can't devote your time to caring for wayward kittens. And we were just lucky that we have the time that while we were here, but it was also time for it to wrap up because we want to get out and see Oaxaca, and the weather has been really good this week.
And we saw more of Oaxaca than we really wanted to see. We'll explain that here shortly. But let's get to the hellos and see who all's here.
Yeah, we're showing off our shirts too. And Peppa, how you doing there? And Max. Oh, here we go. Russ is in Chile, West Virginia. I'm so sorry. I know that it snowed in the Appalachian Mountains. I think it was last night.
Just what those people need.
Yep. And Ricky from Dallas. Hey, Ricky. Michelle. Hola. And Jim. Hey, whoa. Jim's in Vegas.
Good to see you again.
Yeah, it's been a while, I think. Jim, you're in Vegas. All right. And there we go. And Mary and Frank. Hello. Yes, Kingman. Mary and Frank actually.
Kingman in Arizona.
Yes.
They contacted us on the.
Yes. You guys got your appointment coming up really soon here. I believe in Vegas is where it was. So we're hoping that your consulate appointment goes very well for you.
Jim in Toronto.
Wow. Hi there, Jim.
And Rosario.
From, I'm going to try to say this and say it right.
No.
Chayo in Merida. Oh, thank you. Yes, the shirts. Okay, let's talk about this. Very briefly. We're putting a video out this weekend about our experience going to our first ever Mexican rock concert. So, and we'll talk in more detail about the experience. But I just got to say, look, and this is the honest truth. I never heard of this band until about 2 weeks ago. And it was just because I was curious about the building they were playing in, and I was looking things up, and then I found them and started listening to Cafanes on Spotify, and I really like them. So tickets we got, I didn't think he was going to like them, but he liked them too.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's an interesting mix of music that they play. They are heavily influenced by prog and by rock. So if you throw the two of them together, you sort of picture a little Pink Floyd, and you can hear the Pink Floyd there.
Psychedelic Furs, Tears for Fears, The Cure, The Smiths.
Yeah. And the only thing I would say is that it's not exactly Pink Floyd because their guitarist is not David Gilmour, in that, not to knock his talent, David Gilmour is crystal clear in the way he plays.
He's very crisp.
Yes, very crisp. And this guy has a little bit more of a Tommy Iommi or a Ted Nugent, a little dirtier sound.
Dirtier, bluesier.
Yeah. I mean, it just, that was, he was a phenomenal guitarist. I mean, he was shredding.
The whole band.
The whole band was good.
The whole band was good.
And we will outline all that, but it was, and I've got to say this part. It's the first concert I have been to. And I've been to a lot of them. I started going in the 70s, and I was on the Hotel California tour and all of that good stuff. It's the first concert I have been to where I did not smell pot.
No weed. Didn't smell it.
None.
No weed at all.
I could even smell the hot sauce that people were putting on the popcorn and other edibles, and not those type of edibles, food.
Darn.
Yeah. But it was like, wow, okay. But and enthusiasm.
Oh, yeah.
Woo!
Look, these people love Cafanes. I have been to so many concerts where people know the songs and they'll sing along, but none were ever as loud or as enthusiastic as these people were at this concert. It was really, really cool.
And I'm a parrot head, and you know, I saw Jimmy 15 times, and over half of the concert, the audience is singing with Jimmy, and you know, we knew the words to every song as she does. She can go to a Genesis show and she knows the word to every song, you know. But the parrot heads would, you know, Caribbean drunk rock and roll. What are you going to do? You know, even if you're drunk, you can sing the song. But, you know, and yes, we did. But no, I mean, the enthusiasm and the decibel level that the audience was singing with, we heard it here at home because we left when they left the stage because we didn't know how bad it was going to be
Well,
with
you're
the
telling
taxi.
the whole story.
Oh, okay.
But yes, you could hear the audience and the band even here in the Jardín of this house.
Mm-hmm.
We just left a little bit early just so we could get a taxi home without having to wait a long time for taxis. That's all.
So the rest of it, Saturday morning.
Yeah, but boy, they're good.
They're good.
So good. And I like the music. And I like the fact that the lyrics are on Spotify. So I'm definitely going to use this as a tool to help expand my vocabulary. For sure.
Yeah, that was, you know, we've been at concerts before where we haven't been able to understand what was being said. That was because of bad sound mixing or bad acoustics in an arena. This one, we couldn't understand what was being said because it was in Spanish. But trust me, we may have been one of 5 or 10 people in there that weren't understanding it because the rest of the place was just going berserk.
Oh, yeah. We got some looks. I don't think people expect to see gringos at a rock en español concert in Mexico. I don't know. Oh, Susie, it is hot in Puerto Vallarta. How hot is hot?
It was comfortable here today. I mean,
yes.
And yesterday, which most of the conversation tonight will be, you know, we actually did get an opportunity to get out yesterday.
Yes.
Now that we were kitten free, and did get an opportunity to go see 3 additional mercados, and that was.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that.
Yeah,
it wasn't bad. It was just different.
Well, part of it was different.
Hi, BAC from San Antonio. All right, and Jenny, how are you, Dago? Let's see. Oh gosh, yes, we have not seen you in quite some time.
Yes,
that's
good to
awesome.
see you back.
Yes, and Jenny, saludos y abrazos desde Oaxaca. Gracias. Bienvenido. So, let's see. Let's talk about yesterday. Guys, this story is so worth it. I don't understand it. Maybe Denise can explain what happened here yesterday.
Well, no. She might be able to explain the reaction to. I don't know if anybody can explain what was going on because that was just sort of okay. So we went to Mercado Abastos.
Abastos. Boy, it's huge.
Oh my God!
Wow! It just goes on, and there's maze and maze.
I told her it was.
It
truly was an amazing maze because every time you thought you would get someplace, suddenly there'd be 2, maybe 3 little offshoots, and you start down the offshoot. Next thing you know, it comes to another branch, and then it comes to another branch, and it was. And I can honestly say, I think until the very end, we did not hit the same aisle.
I don't think we saw everything.
I know we didn't see everything.
No,
but we were in there for what, an hour and a half?
Yeah,
an hour and 15, hour and a half, something like that.
We walked around a lot, and they have everything. They have plásticos. They have pet things. Pet stores.
Productos limpiados. Cleaning supplies.
Produce.
Oh my God, the produce.
Meats.
Produce. Just to give you an idea, the produce was half the price of what we would be paying at the Chedraui.
2 kilos. No, 1 kilo of bananas, 10 pesos.
Yeah.
Just like.
And I mean, they had.
And Stall after stall of chapulines. Yes, yes, yes.
We did have fun at the Chapulini place.
He ate one. He ate one. I did not get it on camera. I wish I would have, but he ate it so fast, I couldn't.
Okay. She finally decides, because we'd seen him place at, stall after stall after stall after stall after stall. And
I just don't like the legs.
And so finally she found one, and they actually had a menu board up. And on the menu board, they, con chile, con ajo, all the different ways that they prepare. And they had, literally, they had
all kinds of
stacks of these big, almost, flattish bowls that they had just mounds of the chapulines in the different flavors.
Yep.
And so she's up there buying some chapulines, and I'm just standing in the back going, and then she goes, honey, which means dig in your pocket, so, I come over, Quanta cuesta, and she's 50. Okay. So I get 50. So then the young lady who was there, we start conversing, and then we start laughing. And then, it was a great interaction, and it's a good opportunity for me to speak my Spanish and everything else, puedo traer un. No. No.
Aphrodisia.
No. And then she's like, yo y tú, comemos un. She and I were going to eat one each, but so finally, yes, I was not getting out of there without having to eat one.
He didn't take the legs off. He just threw the whole thing in his mouth and just swallowed it.
I wanted it to be over. And then I wanted to find a Coke. And I did not find a Coke until we were out of that mercado at a different mercado when we were having lunch. So
poor guy. So he actually, for the first time, did actually eat a chapulin. So
yeah. But, and there are some people, we had been told by our host here, by Mary from Furry Tales in Oaxaca, and some of you had made comments about, if you go to Abastos, you need to really watch your valuables. Mm-hmm. And I can see, because of the tightness of the aisles, that when it's busy, it's an easy opportunity for things to go missing, because it's, it's a constant flow of people, people pushing, hand trucks and delivering products, because they're replenishing the produce on the fly. And, it was unbelievable. The amount of mole and chocolate.
And you could smell the chocolate and the yema. There was a lot of pananderias.
Yep.
There was a lot of everything.
But what was interesting is okay, in a lot of mezcal.
Yeah.
And in walking around, the mercado, saw all these different mezcal places, people selling it, but they're selling like the same two brands throughout the entire. And folks, they had jugs like you would buy your oil, not motor oil, but
like a half gallon
or a gallon
jug, or a gallon
jug of vegetable oil and mezcal. And you're just like, okay.
I have heard it's better to buy the non-branded mezcals, because those are the ones that are made by local families.
That's
probably true.
But in the same with the pond, we saw the same shop in numerous locations.
It was Domingo.
Yeah.
Yes, it was.
And they had multiple locations, because it's just so big and so diverse that people were like,
And
oh,
these
okay.
chapulines, there was one particular store that had like 3 booths.
Dona Chidron,
Doña something.
Doña Chidron, something like that.
Yeah.
But so we finally work our way through after the chapulines, all through the produce, and we're like, Gina goes, there was a place at the front that had pan, mole, and chocolate. And she's like, I want to go back up there before we leave.
Yeah.
And so we worked our way actually outside of it to the back row, and there's all these taxis lined up.
Oh Lord, guys, this is the you will never believe what we saw part.
And so we're walking by and we're just strolling along, and we sort of come across a little bend in the road and make the bend, and we're dodging the traffic because the taxis that are moving, and most of them are pulled off to the side. And all of a sudden, there's a woman in front of us walking with no clothes on.
Completely nude, doesn't even have shoes on her feet.
Nope. And strolling right down the same walkway that we're strolling down, like it's nothing unusual in the world. And the people, the taxi drivers and the people who are walking on the road, nothing. It's all like, okay, whatever. No one even did a double take. And we were just like, I think we were more blown away by the reactions.
The lack of reaction.
Oh, the lack of reaction.
Nobody even paid attention to the fact that there was this older woman. She had to be at least 65, 75, something like that. Totally naked, with nothing on her feet even, just walking through the market.
And I mean, and it wasn't like she was in a hurry to get any place.
No.
I mean, we were strolling along and she was strolling along at the same pace we were. And I mean, it wasn't like, oh, I'm embarrassed. I need to get to wherever I'm going to. Nope.
Not at all. And no, I didn't even attempt to record any of that because.
First of all, we were sort of shocked at what.
We were surprised to see it. I'm not a prude. I'm just surprised. I think I was even more surprised that nobody else seemed to care.
It was like being in Zippolite all over again. I mean,
nobody cared that this lady was just walking naked around the market. I don't know.
And
we didn't want to appear rude.
Oh God, no. We didn't want to be the only people who were
right.
What? Gringos never saw a lady's butt before. I mean, okay.
Yep.
And fortunately, today, the property manager came to clean the house, and so I had to ask her, okay, una mujer ayer caminó de la calle sin ropa. She just looked at me and go, es normalmente.
See? John said the same thing. Our host said the same thing. The guy who owns this property, he said that happens frequently. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. I don't know why, but okay.
I mean,
nobody else seemed to have an issue with it.
Nope.
It was just like a daily normal thing to them. So
yeah. And that was like, okay. And then we went to 20 de noviembre Mercado.
20 de noviembre.
Sí. And that's, if you're looking for food,
you want to eat, that's the place to go for a mercado.
Yeah.
It was difficult to decide where to go, so we picked the place that had the most people sitting.
Yep. And I mean, and that wasn't hard because La Abuelita, which is the one we chose, as soon as people were getting up from their chairs, they were bussing the table and they was getting filled. And
we did not go to, so we'll have to go back. That particular mercado also has basically a smoke hall. It's a place where you select what meat you want, and they cook it to your liking right there while you wait. And there are people who go around with a la carte items for you to buy to complete your meal. So if you want tortillas, if you want some salsas, if you want
arroz,
right, people they sell those a la carte. We did not go there, but we will, because if there's anything we're all about, it's about the meats.
Oh yeah,
yeah. But it was good. I mean, I finally got to try yema. And I had the chocolate con leche, and it was really good. I have to figure out what that formula is. I tasted the cinnamon. I think it may have almond in it as well, maybe. But it was very good. And I had a tamal, which had salsa negra in it. What you looking at, baby?
I'm just trying to read.
Well, yes. So I'm going to go through these lists real quick. Where did I go? Okay. Well, Anna survived Milton, though it was extremely close. Minor repairs. Very well, good. I do actually have a friend who has significant roof damage, and he had the veranda ripped off the front of his house. So yeah, and that's a close call too, to be honest.
Yeah, that's a no joke.
Yeah.
And that storm was yeah.
Glad that you got out of it relatively unfazed. Okay, Susie, you saying Puerto Vallarta is 31, feels like 38. That's warm. The humidity wouldn't be real high there, though, I don't think.
It's just like Huatuco.
Is it though?
Oh,
I thought it was drier there for some reason.
It's on the ocean.
Hey, Jesse. Hey, Jesse.
We looked good last night.
We did?
Jesse and I, yeah.
That's right.
Our team played last night. Yes.
Abastos is, I'm sorry if I mispronounce this, I'm learning. Abastos es un laberinto. Okay. Pot in Mexico es mota, weed. Mota. Okay. En todas las ciudades importantes de Mexico hay un Abastos. So all the big cities have a mercado like that, like Abastos.
Yeah, we just haven't,
we haven't been to one that big yet.
No. And it could just be bad luck that we, where we weren't close to one, like say in Merida. I know that we never got to the biggest one in Merida.
We did go to a big one, but not the big one.
I know. That's what I'm saying. We did not get to the largest one in Merida.
Right. Hey, Tommy, saludos from Morelia, Michoacan. Hi there. And what is this about olive oil? No olive oil, avocado, unless we go to City Market or Fresco in Querétaro. No, I think you're right. I think the only place we've ever seen olive oil, I think we find it at Chedraui.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
but you're right. It's not something we see at the mercados.
No. Asiete de. Oh God. See, I walked myself into that corner. I can never remember the word for olive. Whatever. Yeah. No. So.
I will tell you.
Oliva.
Hi, Karen. Thank you for joining us tonight. Vegetable and canola processed oils are everywhere. Yeah, they are. Yeah, they are. That's true.
They can fill a whole aisle with 5 brands.
We do find olive oil, though, because we've bought it, because we do cook with it, so not everything. But I haven't tried to look for avocado oil or any other kind of oils for that matter. I have seen coconut oil.
I know the other places that if you're going to have to go to Querétaro, you could probably find it at the HEB.
HEB.
That's
for sure. Hey, Wilfredo. Saludos.
2 semanas más.
And Tom. Hi, Tom. I went to the laundromat completely naked today. But I bet you at least had shoes on your feet. That was the one thing. I was like, man, she's naked.
Well,
and she's
he had
walking
to because there's no
barefoot.
shoes, no service, So knowing Tom, he took him at their word.
Right. So this is a good question. Hi, Greg. Interesting that it was normal when you're not supposed to go topless on the beach because that's not acceptable and there might be children present. Yeah, I don't know, but
And there were kids all over
mm-hmm,
the Mercado.
Mm-hmm.
And okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
everybody else was treating it normal. And like I said, the owner of this property, our host, said that happens there frequently. And our property manager was kind of like, yeah.
I mean, she literally looked at me, sort of cocked her head and went, "Es normalmente," and okay, just it's like whatever, But
yeah, it was different. And yes, I'm so glad, Jim, that you brought this up. Dia de los Muertos is, and yes, we will be here. And I even went out and bought some candy because I saw somewhere on some Facebook expat group that they get trick-or-treaters for like a solid week or something. And so I asked our property manager today, and she said, no, not here. What they'll do is they'll have a parade for the kindergartners, and they'll come around and people throw candy, or you can hand candy out to the kindergartners. So they'll have a band, there'll be a banda, and they'll have like I don't know what they're called, big puppets and things like that.
Yeah, you sort of encountered that the other night when
I did. They threw candy at me. They threw candy at me and the little kids, and then some guy came up and put a big pile of candy in my hand, and I'm like, thank you. And then I gave it to the kids because what am I going to do with it? But I did buy a little bag of candy because I didn't know what to expect. But we're going to be here for that. I want to go uptown in Centro and get my face painted. So I want to get Katrina makeup and those flowers in my hair. That's going to be so much fun. And it's that big of a deal to me because when we were planning our trip out 2 years ago, I said to him, I want to be in Oaxaca for Dia de los Muertos. Mm-hmm.
There were a few things that we were like, okay, we want to be here. I mean, when we were doing the actual scheduling and the laying out of the entire itinerary, there were a few markers that we have, San Miguel de Allende for Easter. That was another, okay, we want to be there for that.
Yeah.
Well, I wasn't going to go any past,
the
Dia de los Muertos was another that was like, all right, we got to be in Oaxaca for Dia de los Muertos. So, the massaging of putting that all together had to work around certain spots.
So, look, Jesse, you just come on down.
The food is phenomenal here. I mean,
no clothing and food. Yeah. Greg, you might be right. And maybe it was normal for that particular lady. Maybe it was just normal in that particular mercado. I don't know. But yeah.
I mean,
I was just surprised that nobody was even paying attention to what she was doing. Like nobody was looking. No. Yeah.
No, I mean, because Letty today said, no es normal en la mente. So, she's not the normal mind.
Oh, okay. She prepared. What does this mean, Ricky?
I could get in trouble there, but
wait. There
okay.
we go. Okay, so she's probably not all there in her head, and that's kind of what
Letty was saying. Yeah.
But here in Mexico, people or police don't mess with them. We leave them alone and let them be. Okay.
And that's sort of what everybody was doing. Was like,
they weren't bothering her, and they weren't trying to talk to her or stop her or staring her down. Nothing.
And she was not aggressive in any way, shape, or form, or even looking at people. She was just walking down.
She was just strolling along, and she looked like she might have actually been disoriented a little, maybe. I don't know. I don't know.
All we saw was basically the backside.
We just saw the backside of her, but it was like a slow kind of shuffle.
Yeah.
Slow shuffle. And I don't know if she had a destination in mind, but yeah. Oh my God, humidity is off the charts. Changing clothes 3 times a day. Oh my gosh. I'm so sorry, Susan. That is just rough. Let's see here. Wilfredo, Aguas Calientes is another big festival that people travel from all over to be
the
here.
biggest
In May.
Faria in
the
país. Sí.
In May. Feria.
Es el Faria Grande.
Sí.
Más grande. You know, it is the biggest fair. And yeah, it goes for a month. Yeah. And that was at one time on the list that we were going to go there for that.
It was.
And then when we decided we needed the 6-month break, we had to start pairing. And that was a 1 month only. And we really were only going there for the Faria. And so we sort of went, you know what? Once we pick a landing spot, we can always travel back and go to Aguas Calientes.
Well, and the truth is if we were to go there for that 1 month because of the Feria, the problem with that is that is not an authentic indication of what living in that city is truly like. We would have been there during a very crowded moment in time where a lot of people come in because of what's going on in the city for that month. It wouldn't have given us a realistic idea of what living there would be outside of that month. So,
well, and the other part of that is that's also the peak season Airbnb, which means that we would be paying premium pricing to go to Aguas Calientes. Because if it's anything like any place else we've been, like Huatuco, you know, we paid the off-season rate. There's a difference between what we paid in the off-season and what we would have paid in the heat of the peak season.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine?
No.
We paid a pretty high price for that Airbnb in Huatuco, but it was the going rate for the Airbnbs that we were looking at in that location.
For that time of the year.
And that was the off-season. I cannot imagine what peak season would have been like. I don't know. And that's one of these things we have to address. We're going to do a video when we land in Querétaro because we'll be in Querétaro for 6 months.
And there's a lot of things we gotta have to do to fill up 6 months. Because we've already been there. So, I mean, and one of them will actually be, okay, what's the difference? Because it'll have been almost 2 years exactly.
Yes.
From when we first got to Querétaro. And then now we're landing back in Querétaro.
We can compare.
And we're going to be able to compare the difference in what's changed in 2 years. So that'll be, you know, but there's a lot of things that are going to be a little bit different because of our being there for a 6-month stay. That, you know, there's some things that we've had some great clues and requests from all of you about, you know, hey, this would be a great idea. Could you do a video on this? And
yes.
And we've been going, yes.
And I'm taking notes.
And it's going into the Querétaro bucket.
Yeah, because we need things to do while we're in Querétaro. One of the things is definitely going to be addressing why our cost of living for accommodations is so much higher than what people think it should be. Well, we keep trying to explain it's Airbnb. It's Airbnb. I actually found a guy who posted this 5 months ago. And what he said is, as an owner, as a host, he saw his rates with Airbnb rise about 40 to 50%. And so,
and it wasn't him.
And if his fees have risen that much, he's pushing that off onto the guests. And then the fees have risen also for the guests. So we try to tell people, look, we're paying double what rent would cost. It is almost always about double what the rent would cost because Airbnbs, they're getting the end fees on both ends.
Well, and you know, the owners are going, I'm not paying for their vacation. And justifiably so. If it was my property, I'd be going, you want to stay here? Here's what it's going to cost. Oh, Airbnb just went up $100 on their fees.
Yeah.
Well, now I got to raise the price $100,
and I also just read an article yesterday about the amount of pushback on digital nomads, not just in Mexico, all over, in Portugal, in Spain.
Spain's been big on it.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of countries they're tired of it. And why? It's the same old, same old.
Hold on.
What?
It's not the country.
Well,
it's the residents.
It's yes. It's the same old, same old. What happens is that some of these countries have offered nomad visas for digital nomads, and people see an opportunity to make money. So they buy up property, they rent out property. It is sometimes a foreign buyer, but it is more often a residential buyer, someone from that country, and they're renting it out knowing that they can get more money for it if they treat it like a vacation rental.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, as we know, and we've been hearing this for a few years, when you do that, it does cause gentrification. It does push your local residents out of their neighborhoods. It makes life harder for the people who live there permanently.
Well, and you forgot another country that's been pushing back on that.
Well, it was Portugal, Spain,
the U.S.
Yeah.
Because New York actually passed an ordinance that, X percentage, could only be done for Airbnb or Vrbo or any of those platforms. That other than that, anything above and beyond, no. So,
and if we were living someplace for longer than 6 months, we could be boots on the ground and go look for a se renta, sign,
mm-hmm.
but we can't, because we're only staying in places most of the time for 1 to 3 months. And so we have to rely on these vacation rentals, and they are getting expensive.
And then you top that off with the fact that, it's got to be at least a queen bed or bigger.
Yeah.
Got to have a place to put the car.
Yeah.
Got to have
good internet.
Good internet. I mean,
yeah.
And so, you start putting all of these, okay, those are not wants, those are needs.
Mm-hmm.
And then we start putting in a few wants that we desire to have. And suddenly the list, may have been 1,500 properties in a specific location, and now it's down to 150 or 100 of them. And so it's like, oh, and then we start going through there and, oh, well, they don't list this out, We don't have roof access. So in case their internet goes out, we can't put Starlink up, and so by the time we get done, most of the time, or they're in a neighborhood that we're not comfortable in, and suddenly we're down to 10 to 15 in a particular city. And by the time we're done with that 10 to 15, we're also looking at probably, they're not the highest price, because we kick those out. We are looking at, the upper echelon price wise versus the rest of the location.
There was one place we wanted pretty bad, and they wanted well over $3,000 a month for it in Centro and Querétaro.
Mm-hmm.
$3,000 US a month.
And it didn't even have on location parking, but there was a
garage.
There was a parking lot, estacionamiento, it is right next door. And they had worked out a deal where, we could park, if you rented the place, you got to park there for free for up to one vehicle, which, okay, that's fine. We could have lived with that. But, $3,000 a month. And we told them, look, we're going to be here 6 months. We're willing to pay you X amount, and let us take it back to the owners. And
no, we never heard back from them, because
crickets.
It's one of those things where they don't want to say no. And that's okay.
Or they were going, if we rent it for 2 months at $3,000 and not give out the discount, we still have the opportunity to rent it out.
Yeah.
And so they may have been gambling.
People are probably paying it.
Yeah. The location was great.
But think about that for a minute. Think about the fact that if you lived in Querétaro and you lived in Centro and you had lived there for years. Maybe your family lived there for years. And all of a sudden, your next door neighbor's place gets rented out as a vacation rental for $3,000 a month. I mean, that's more than what a lot of people even earn.
Well, and the other part of that equation, to be fair,
Yeah,
is you don't always know who the tenants are going to be.
no, you don't.
And I'm talking about as far as the vecinos, the neighbors are concerned. Sometimes, we hope that our neighbors and the people that we have lived with and encountered and everything else all go, great people. But I'm sure that they have encountered others that just,
Oh yeah, we know somebody who rented her place out to someone and then she couldn't get him to leave. He was squatting. Yeah. So no, I get it. No, I'm not saying that people who own the properties don't, have bad tenants and bad guests. That it certainly does happen. I'm just saying that we paid $800 a month to rent a place when we first arrived in Querétaro. And we wanted to return to Querétaro, and we couldn't find a place close to Centro for less than $3,000 a month. We ended up not too far from Wilfredo, out near Milenio 3, for about $1,500 a month. And honestly, I may have a talk with the host after we're there for maybe a month and just say, listen, can we...
Airbnb, turn this off right now.
We'll see if we can work off the platform. I think both of us come out ahead that way.
And we're willing for him to make a couple $100 more if he cuts off their fees. And we, even if we save $100 and he makes $200, okay, he wins, we win. So
we'll see what happens. But
that has been done before and made us very nervous the first time.
Yes, but it worked out.
But it was
a great house. We had a great host, and it worked out really well. It's just that I'm noticing a lot of pushback, and it's not just in Mexico.
It's todo el mundo.
It's happening everywhere. It's people who are greedy, who are trying to get as much money as they can out of their property, with disregard to the people who have lived there for decades.
Well, with inflation, everybody's trying to get as much money as they possibly can.
That.
I mean, it ain't pretty.
Hola, Debbie.
Hola, Debbie.
Sorry, there you are. Just we weren't forgetting you. So Greg, the candy thing was from me. Okay, I knew I read something. Parents send their costume kids up to people on Playa's 5th Avenue. Oh, La Quinta. With actual purpose for them to feel guilty about not having candy and giving money. Okay. Well, I knew I had read it somewhere. I just couldn't remember where. So I didn't know if we needed to buy candy or not. So I bought a small bag. I said, I don't know what days, how many days,
we'll deal with it.
But it doesn't matter because we got told how it works here. So when they have their parade on the 30th, we will be handing out or throwing out candy. So yes, Wilfredo, we are the newest Caifanes fans. I don't know how we never heard of this band before. Honestly, how did we never hear of this band before?
See these two shirts.
Oh,
two shirts.
Two shirts.
Okay. In the US, we all know that if you go to a concert, you're looking at 40, 50, sometimes more for a shirt.
A minimum of 35.
That's if somebody's being, trying to look out for their fans.
Unless you buy the parking lot shirt.
Well, yeah, if you buy the, knockoffs there.
Right.
These two shirts, 500 pesos.
Yep.
500 pesos for two shirts. And I think we got gringoed on that, but I wasn't going to bitch.
Really?
Yep.
You think so? Why?
Yeah, because the person was that purchased right after us.
Yeah.
It was 200 pesos.
For two shirts?
No, per shirt. 2 and 2 would be 4.
Whatever.
But I was like, hey.
$12.50 a shirt.
$12.50 a shirt.
Whatever.
I was like, I was shocked the other way because it was like, oh boy, here it comes, and then it was like, 500? Here, let me pay you fast before you change your mind.
Change your mind. Yeah. No, we are. I don't know how we never heard of these guys before. They are right in the type of music that I like. I guess it's just because it's rock en español, and I really didn't listen to those particular types of channels.
I mean, how many times do you turn on the Mexican AM radio station wherever you live?
When you say that, all I can think of is Walla Voodoo.
Well, I'm just saying, I mean, when you were in the U.S. and you were at that age, you were listening to the music that
in the area.
Yeah.
But I'm so ever impressed by the fact that this band has just been wrapping up the tour, and they've hit, I believe, Seattle. They were definitely in LA. They did a bunch of
Toronto,
southern states like Texas and stuff. They were in Toronto, Chicago. I mean, they were all over.
And when you hear them, you know why.
Oh my God, they're so good. Increíble. Oh, so it's chilly in Lake Chapala. Is it really?
Hola, Crypto Head.
It's getting, I'm not quite there yet.
Yeah, you are.
No, I'm
not.
You're not. It's getting in the 50s Fahrenheit here at night. What would that be? Low 20s?
Yeah, somewhere around there.
Low 20s Celsius, I believe.
It's actually good sleeping weather. I mean,
it is.
That part is like, yes.
Now we're there.
Hola, Crypto Head. It's Max Headroom.
Oh, God. Oh, no. Hi, Terry. Good evening. No, you're not late. It's fine.
Happy birthday, Lisa.
Happy birthday. Feliz cumpleaños. How was the concert, you guys? Oh, man, it was so good. It was so good. Oh, just take a little bit of King Crimson, maybe a touch of Pink Floyd, mix in a little bit of Tears for Fears, Psychedelic Furs, the Smiths, and the Cure.
And it depended upon the song. I mean, really. I mean, you could sit there and all of a sudden close your eyes and go, "Wow, that is Pink Floyd," and then suddenly it'd be like, "Whoa, that's Flaming Lips," or I mean, you just be going.
Oh yeah, they were playing one song, and I went, "My God, that sounds like Woman in Chains by Tears for Fears."
You just they quickly and readily show their influences, and
they even played the theme to Peter Gunn.
Yes, they did.
Like, wow.
And I got to give them credit that their musicianship was spot on.
It was really good. It was really, really good. But I can't get over the crowd.
No.
That's what really hit me hard, was how much the people who were attending that concert love this band.
And Saturday's video is all about that.
We're going to talk about that.
So
here, I'm going to eat some chapulines as we go down. And yes, Jesse, $3,000 a month. Yes.
And here's the thing, Jesse. It was only 2 bedrooms, and one of them only had a twin.
But it was a nice house.
No. It was impeccably, furnished and everything else, and it was very upscale. No, that you mean had a library with the ladder that slid on the. I mean, it had a lot of that, fun stuff. But it was also, I mean, we're sitting here going, no, $3,000, and we don't need all of that stuff. All we need is, do I want a library with a sliding ladder, or do I want an oven in a kitchen that I can cook in?
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
At half the price.
Something else, when we were at Abastos, Mercado Abastos, we were at the counter that was selling all these large containers of different flavors of chapulines. They had I'm going to say it wrong, I think it's chiquitana, the ants, the really large ants that are very seasonal.
I drew that line.
And I wasn't going to try it, but I did try one. I said I would try one. It's okay. I don't know if I think I probably would have liked it more if it had like a seasoning or flavor added to it. It was just okay.
Or if you'd have had 4 mezcals.
Well, you never know. But
Yeah.
I did try one. I did try one. I didn't think it was terrible. No.
Well, I didn't think that the Cipollini was terrible, but I didn't think it was great. I mean, it just was sort of there. I mean, that was my.
He swallowed it. He didn't even chew it.
Well, let's put it this way. I had a leg stuck between my teeth
No.
all the way until we finally got.
Did you really?
Yes, until we got. All I want to do was end.
He didn't want to get. He should have take the legs off. The legs are yuck. No legs. No legs. My casita is going up in March. I've decided to move into Ajijic proper. Very good. Very good. So you do like that area. Where, when we get there.
The whole question becomes, is it good? I mean, are you able to find a place that fulfills all your needs and everything else without having to pay an upcharge in pricing? So, hopefully it's good.
And so like the questions asked is, did it cost more than living on an outskirts? And so Debbie, no, it'll be more, but you're going to save on cab fares. So it's a trade-off.
Well, and if you're going to get to walk more, that's even better. Better for the health.
Yeah. Papi. Papi Mexico. Hola desde la Florida. Hola. Bienvenidos. Nearly everyone has a dog giveaway. Are you losing your tan? Whoa. Okay. Mark, are you losing your tan? I never had one, so. Yeah, he's losing his tan.
Here versus Huatulco? Absolutely.
Yeah, it was raining here a lot.
I mean, first of all, yeah, it would rain during the prime time of the day when I would normally be the sunniest, and it did not occur in Huatulco. Huatulco, it was outside going, wow. And so, yeah, it'll be back,
Yeah. He'll get it back.
All I need to do is start thinking of the sun, and it'll already start getting a little darker because I tan just by thinking of it.
He tans so easily. Oh, hola, Alfredo. Wait. Flaming Lips in concert. Okay, yes, they are. I love Flaming Lips in concert. Why are you bringing them up? Where are they?
Because we talked about, you mentioned them when we were talking about Calfanes. I said.
Oh, you said Flaming Lips.
Yes, I did.
Okay.
And then you went into, I heard Mama in Chains. And,
okay, so
So
one of the things I read is that of course, Calfanes' influence, one of the bands was the Beatles. Well, guess who else is heavily influenced by the Beatles? Flaming Lips.
Well, how many bands post 1965?
But you can hear. But you can actually hear it.
No, I know.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's that's sort of a influence that just about everybody in some way, shape, or form took something away. The two bands that made classic rock were the Stones and the Beatles. Everything built off of that platform.
Really now?
The Who. Okay.
I'm going to say, don't you diss the Who.
Okay. Yeah.
I have actually heard that the Who was like the forefathers of
punk.
Punk.
Yes, but the foundation is okay. We'll throw those three there, but everything sort of
Yes, but I do like Flaming Lips. Oh, here's a good one for you.
You mean Wayne Coyne?
Wayne Coyne.
Hey, aren't you proud I didn't know that name?
I am surprised and proud that you know that name. The very first one big holiday festival that I went to at Hard Rock Hotel Riviera, Maya. Flaming Lips was the off night headliner. So it's a 4-night concert. My Morning Jacket plays 3. They take a night off. Well, that first year, Flaming Lips was the headliner on their night off. And I'd never seen them in concert before. And the elaborate amount of stuff that they put on their stage, I know they do these inflatables and all kinds of other stuff. It was just insane. Their sound check was awesome. I took so many really good photos of them. But the thing that got me is Wayne Coyne was on that property all that week wearing supposedly swim trunks that looked more like long underwear shorts. They didn't really hide anything. It was just a really interesting selection for swim trunks. But he was very accessible. He was really nice. He took pictures with people.
Was Bob Weir there at the same time?
Bob Weir was also there. Bob Weir was there the week before with Dead and Company or something, and stayed over. Bob Weir was another one. He was in the exact same clothes all week, always barefoot. He was different too. But Wayne Coyne was really cool, and he was very accessible, and he took pictures with people, and he was nice. He was just a little weird. Alfredo, do we have plans for Dia de los Muertos? Yes, we do.
Here in Oaxaca.
We're going to be here. We are walking distance to Centro. I want to get the Katrina makeup and the flowers and just enjoy the festivities. On the 30th, there is going to be a parade with the banda that goes through our neighborhood. And the little children will be out, and you throw candy and stuff at them.
That may affect our next live.
That might affect our next live. I don't know yet. I got to check. We may do it a day earlier than we normally do, or we may just skip a week and do it in 3 weeks instead of 2 weeks, because it's going to land on the day that we're throwing the candy out to the children. So we'll figure it out, logistics, and we'll update you as soon as we can figure it out. Oh no, Lisa and I are officially homeless. Oh, you closed on your house today. Awesome. Congratulations. That's very cool. So Alfredo, going back down, Halloween, able to negotiate a price with a few of our hosts. When we were in La Paz last February, we were saving a fair amount for tacos and margaritas. Awesome. We will actually have a friend, a subscriber and a friend named Winston. He will be here with his significant other, his girlfriend. Is Terry a girlfriend? I guess
wife.
So. Are they married?
Yes, they are.
Oh, I'm so sorry. They are married. So his wife. They will be here the week of Dia de los Muertos, and we will probably be doing more than just checking out the festivities. We will probably head out to some mezcal tours, and we'll probably do Monte Aban. And I don't know what else. We're going to go to Santo Domingo tomorrow and go to Mercado Merced tomorrow. Mm-hmm. But I mean, there's things all around. There's another archaeological zone that's north of Monte Alban that maybe we could check that out too. Then there's the really, really big tree. And there's all these this really cool indigenous communities in the area. There's a lot we could do. We just have to put together some tours and throw the options out to Winston and Terry and see if they're interested in doing some of those with us, or if we're doing them on our own.
Because we're not really driving here in Oaxaca. And it's not because, well, maybe a little because of the way they drive here in Oaxaca, but because we didn't, when we went to the concert, that was interesting. The taxi ride. I mean, it's, the cutting in, cutting out, it was like, okay.
Just let him do his job.
Oh, absolutely. All I kept saying was, glad I'm not trying to drive this.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just, wow. But, and the other part of that is we did not even bother to think about parking. And when we get to the venue, there really wasn't any parking. Everybody sort of utilizes cabs to get there. So
I saw that there is actually a parking lot, but it's not super close to the venue.
Not for the number of people, and not for the number of people who were there.
Right. Yeah, a lot of people utilize the cabs, which is why we kind of left right before the encore. Because, first of all,
we didn't know how long the encore was going to be, and
the encore was like 7 or 8 songs long. It's crazy. I looked at the set list after the fact, and I mean, they played for like another hour.
We got home and they were still playing. We could hear them. And we could hear the people singing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was wild. But they played a really long time. I don't know. The people love them so much. It was just really cool to see that. So many good music stories. Oh, we used to go to a lot of shows. And I used to find every way I could to meet people. I wasn't a stalker in the sense that I would hang out by the tour bus or whatever and just wait. I didn't do that. But I would get to venues super, super early if it was general admission because I want to be on the rail because I'm short. And I would do that and I'd be there all day.
Not a problem for her here in Mexico.
No. And I would do things like maybe draw a picture of somebody and then reach out to their management and see if I could get that person to autograph it for me,
Well,
which sometimes would turn into meeting them.
The best story of that one was she did one for Ann and Nancy Wilson for Heart.
Mm-hmm.
And so they had a drawing and there were 5 winners that were going to go back.
It was fan club.
It was fan club.
I was in a fan club
and 5 people were chosen to go back to meet Ann and Nancy, and 6 people got to go.
They added me.
They added her. And so when we show up, we had printed prints of her picture that she had drawn to give to each of them. And when we get to the will call, because we paid for the tickets and they were at will call, she shows her ID and here comes this envelope back. And we're like, envelope? We're just looking for 2 tickets. In the envelope was our entire amount that we paid for the concert was refunded, and they upgraded our. That's right. No, they moved us back, but they put us in center.
We had fan club tickets, and there was a mistake that was made,
and they didn't put us in the fan club seating.
They didn't put us in fan club seating, so they refunded our money for our tickets, and they comped us. I think it might have been 20, 25 rows back,
center stage,
which was fine. And then I got to go and do the meet and greet with them and stuff. So that almost didn't happen though, because Anne was overweight at the time and she wasn't real fond of the fact that this didn't portray her as the young, svelte person that she wanted to be. She had a lot of personal demons.
Well, she'd only had that since the 80s. That was, they pushed that down on her and then hit her in videos instead of
I know. And there was also this other thing. I noticed an error. I don't know. She was very disconnected during the meet and greet. Nancy was great and very gregarious and chatty, but Anne was very reserved and kind of pulled back within herself.
The wall was up.
Yeah. Found out later that it was during that period of time where the band had an intervention with her because she was an alcoholic. We didn't know that at the time.
And we'd seen them several times. And one of the things that we noticed was, the band comes out and they're great. And it would take Anne about two maybe 3 songs to get into voice.
Yeah.
And then once she got there, it was, to me, still the greatest pipes in all of rock are Ann Wilson. When she hits something, it's just like, damn, Yep. The only person I've ever heard do Zeppelin better than Plant was Ann Wilson.
But after they did that intervention, the concerts that followed, I had noticed that she was much more engaging. And
she was.
I never realized why. The story came out a few years after all this happened.
Yeah, no,
and that's what it was.
And it still took her a couple songs. That part didn't change, but from the get-go, she was engaging with the audience more. Yeah. Before it was, if there was going to be any interaction between the band and the audience, it was coming from Nancy and it wasn't coming from Ann. And after the intervention, that changed quickly. But to me, still one of the all-time great rock and rolls, and thank God they're in the Hall of Fame because, we won't go down that road.
I've met a few people that way, using my art as a way to get in.
Well,
it's happened.
Then I sat next to T-Boz.
Yeah, you did on a plane.
Shared a plane ride with T-Boz
from TLC.
Yeah. And then my best one still is Jimmy Buffett on a Tuesday night at Captain Tony's in Key West. And we happened to be there when I was in the Navy, and it was just like, as every sailor does, oh, I got the night off. We're in a strange port. Let me go find a bar. And, being a parrot head, well, I got to go find Captain Tony's. And stroll in there and having a few beers, and be damned if Jimmy didn't walk in. And we got hammered.
Oh, my.
And, had a good time. So
I'm curious here. Okay, so, hey, this is a good idea, Greg, to stream the parade live. I could, and I think that would be neat. I think we could do that.
We could, but the only problem is we wouldn't know when. So the viewers
we would just instantly just go.
I mean,
live.
They would absolutely have no advance warning.
No, there would be no advance warning because we don't know what time it starts. 5 or 6, and she said, when you hear the band.
We may have 5 minutes warning because we'll hear them a couple streets over, and that's about as much of an advance warning as we get.
But I don't think it's a bad idea. I think that's a good idea, and people could see what that's like. They have these really, really giant, kind of like paper mache puppets that they walk around with, and then there's like this big globe-looking ball thing that they hold up.
The hell did you just do to the focus?
Oh, I don't know. Give me.
Well, you went the woo, and it went
there. It goes
with you.
Yeah, sorry, that happens. It does autofocus. I mean, I could turn it off.
Well, no, I'm just okay. It just sort of went wacky.
I don't know. I think that's a good idea. I just have to figure out logistics.
Yeah, I mean we.
Yeah. Okay, so Debbie, tell me about this performer, a wonderful performer who comes down from Guadalajara. He is awesome, but very intimate. Well, I'd like to know more. Do you know what's the performer's name?
How intimate are we? You
have to go there, don't you?
Well, it's right there.
And there you go. JB at Captain Tony's.
Sometimes God just sort of goes, I'm going to smile on you today. Okay, thank you. I mean,
yeah.
And
he pulled out his guitar and he asked you to name a song that you wanted to hear.
Yeah, well, he had a guitar that was behind the bar, and so they handed it to him, and so everybody's doing, there's maybe, I don't know, 8-10 of us in the bar. It was Tuesday night, so it wasn't like it was packed. It was off season in Key West, and Margaritaville, let's get drunk and screw. And he looks at me and goes, so what do you want to hear? Tampico Trauma. And he goes, Jesus Christ, can't get away from you parrot heads. Because he's like, the only people who would ask for Tampico Trauma would be a parrot head. So, I didn't want to ask for the obvious because, and if you ask me my favorite one, my favorite one of all times that Jimmy ever did was Pirate Lips at 40. So,
I'm all about one particular harbor. I'm looking up Jonathan Guzman right now, and I will check him out.
Okay. So now we have an off-topic question.
Off-topic question. Hey. We're all about the off-topic questions. Any security concerns using Schwab ATM, considering some retirement accounts are in Schwab app too? Does that make sense? We have been using Schwab since we arrived.
And never had a problem.
We have never had a problem.
No.
We pretty much only use the card when we want to get cash at an ATM.
Correct.
Otherwise, we use our Capital One for credit card,
Correct.
charges.
And the only time we've ever really encountered any issues with using the Schwab card at an ATM, it had nothing to do with Schwab. It had everything to do with the user.
What was that?
When we couldn't figure out how to use the damn ATMs when we first got to Querétaro.
Well, that's
and
because...
then they don't tell you that pick another amount. what they don't tell you is some ATMs have a cutoff, be it 9,000 pesos, 10,000 pesos. I think the most we've ever gotten was 12, I think was the most we've ever gotten at one time. And but nowhere does it tell you, if you enter in, let's just say 10,000 pesos, it doesn't tell you that amount exceeds what this ATM will pay. It just goes and kicks you back out.
Yeah.
And so we were like, oh crap, what is going on? And take it out, put it back in, and 9,000 pesos. Money's in there. That's not an issue. Why is it not giving it to me? Because this particular ATM would only do 8,000 at a time. So if you encounter that where all of a sudden you put it in there, the money's there, and it goes, no, try a lesser amount.
Yeah. And
avoid BBVA for ATMs. Their conversion rate is ridiculous.
Which ATM is it that stopped asking you about the declination? Like most of these most of the banks will offer you a conversion rate, which you can decline.
Which you should decline.
Yeah.
Because
right.
It's a way of going.
One of them stopped asking.
Santander, I think.
I can't
remember. Either them or HSBC. The other one that they started doing, just the heads up, is they started wanting, do you want to insure this deposit for the next 3 hours?
Deposit?
Or withdrawal.
Oh.
For the next 3 hours. What? In case I get robbed? I mean, the odds of that occurring, and it's not a great amount. And again, it's like, okay, no, I'm not giving them that money.
I think HSBC is okay because I think that's what you just got it out of at Chedraui.
I think it is.
So I think that's okay. They didn't ask you about.
No, they did.
Okay.
Yeah, I just have reached the point where as soon as it comes up with the
right,
do you want to accept our conversion rate? No.
So we do have Schwab. We have the investor checking, and mostly we just use it for checking because we pretty much blew through the investment part. But when I had excess funds from when I was working, I did roll them into CDs, into short-term CDs in the investment and then
when
account.
You get the next one, we'll start doing the whole build it back
and
up.
We used both, and I like Schwab a lot. And
the nice part is knowing that no matter how many times we go to the ATM, which we don't do very often. I mean, it's but all that I never worry about. They go, there's an ATV fee, which they ask every time. It's dependent upon the bank. I don't really worry about that because that money's coming back to us. So, if it says, well, we're going to charge you 100 pesos to use this ATM, I don't care. I'm getting that 100 pesos back. Because
Charles Schwab is going to reimburse you your ATM fees. So we like that.
Yeah.
And we don't use the ATMs a lot, but we see $5 to $10 reimbursed every month on our statement. Something else about Schwab too, but I can't think of it at the moment. Oh well. Anyway, I can't think of it now. It kind of came in and it went back out. And Lena, you're okay. Thank you for being here. So BBVA, no bueno. At least not on their ATMs.
Not on their ATMs. I mean, I don't know about the rest of their banking services, but they are brutal. And there have been a few times where we have actually, I'm trying to remember one of them. Oh, we were leaving Riviera Maya, and we're heading over to Tuxtla, and we needed some cash because we were going to be staying in Villahermosa, and we needed money for the automoteles because they prefer the cash. And so, because not all automoteles accept credit cards. We found that out the hard way. So now we always make sure we've got enough cash for that to occur. And so the only one on the way out of town from where we were leaving was a BBVA,
Yeah.
and it was a full peso, per dollar less. So, yeah.
Always decline. That's
Always
right, David. Always decline. And hola, Bruno. Bienvenidos. Okay, so that's what I wanted to bring up. Schwab is downsizing their banking operations, trying to figure out a backup. So I'm glad you mentioned this because, again, on one of the Facebook groups, I saw somebody post that it might have been Cindy. I can't remember right now. That Schwab wanted to validate people's addresses because they don't want their customers permanently residing outside of the United States, that the account is not set up for that. And it was potentially closing their account. I don't even know what.
There has been stories of that occurring.
So what we have done, they have not asked us to validate anything outside of the standard annual whatever. We give them our South Dakota address.
It has not bitten us yet.
It hasn't bitten us yet. I'm not saying it never will. It may.
Knock on wood.
I have to do this. What does this mean? R4. Okay, wait. Okay, so las chicatanas son por. So what does this mean? I'm looking because I don't know that word yet. R4. So they are for. Las chicatanas are for.
Que los chicatanas son por.
Que.
¿Por qué?
No, that's because. Oh.
Por
K. Sorry. I'm still learning.
Well, me too, but
aprendiendo.
For what? No.
Yeah. I do.
And I just follow the Tom rule of thumb. Yeah. I fake it until I make it.
I know. I know that chicatanas are predominantly collected during rainy season, and they can be pricey, and they're not something you can have year round unless you've collected bunches of them and you store them, I guess. I don't know.
You'd have to treat them like the kittens and you'd be on your own.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if they come in other flavors, but what I tasted was just okay. I would much rather eat these chili chapulines than a chicatana just because it didn't taste as flavorful as chili chapulines.
Yeah.
So that tells you all you need to know about chicatanas.
Oh, like I didn't already know that.
Always try to use Citibank Mex ATMs because they don't swallow your card.
True.
You can always get it out. Okay. Long weekend.
Yeah, they do leave that the edge of it sticking out so that you can just.
Oh, okay. Here we go. Okay, so I'm gonna try to figure this out. Las chicatanas se cocinan en salsa. Oh, so you use them for salsa, right? Cocinan en salsa. They are cooked in salsa, pero en realidad no se comen como los chau, pero.
But in reality, they are not eaten.
Just to eat. You getting it?
Well, I'm getting the last part, but the price per kilo is very expensive.
See. Okay.
See, I'm
like I said, precio del kilo es muy caro.
I'm learning from Tommy.
All right.
I mean, I fake it.
So they do cook. They cook with them. I have heard that they're used in cooking more than they are just to eat. But
yeah, fine.
Yeah. Okay.
They could have been in my Mexican marinated pig yesterday. I don't know.
Or in the salsa.
I don't care. The pig was good. I mean,
The pig was good.
The pig was good. And I'm not normally a big black bean fan. You know that.
Oh yeah, but you liked it.
But this combination, the way they cooked the black beans and with that marinated pig, it was like, oh man, these two, that was a home run.
There is just so much to see, to smell, and to taste in this city. Oaxaca de Juarez, there's so much. I don't know if we'll do it all.
Well, I don't think we've done everything in every city we've been to. I
know.
I mean, but again, I look at it and I go, we have talked to how many people who live in Mexico who also sit there and go, you two have experienced more of this country than I have being a citizen of the country. So, it's we can only do so much and take in as much as we can and still maintain some semblance,
See, so Tom is asking if he knows French, right?
No.
What? To appeler? What?
Well, in Spanish, apellido is your last name.
Oh, your last name is French, correct? See? Okay. Bousset. Denny?
I honestly thought when we started this whole thing, she was going to pass me up and blow me by in the Spanish quickly.
I know.
And it's actually, the gulf is widening.
It's widening for a few reasons. The truth of the matter is he has nothing better to do than watch TV and study his Spanish. I've got a lot of things I'm doing.
I watch TV, but I don't study my Spanish. Shh, Amy and Denise, you didn't hear that.
That's true. He doesn't do his homework.
I mean,
I do the homework. The vocabulary is becoming overwhelming. I'm not, and they know that. It's like they're spraying you with a fire hose and hoping some of it will stick. I understand that. I've been through those types of learning situations in a lot of different places for a lot of different reasons, even in IT. They just throw everything at you and they hope that some of it will stick. Right now, it's the vocabulary that's not sticking too well for me. And I don't retain things.
Las palabras.
See, I don't retain things as well as he does. And I also have a
That ain't true.
No, that is true.
You retain more things than I retain. I just retain certain things better than you.
Oh, well, but I'm also very distracted and I'm pulled in a lot of different directions and it doesn't help. So, it's more than kids.
Yeah,
so the art website, the social medias that I try to keep up with, the YouTube videos, and then of course the cats came in. So I just get really busy. And I had hoped that I would learn faster than I have. I'm learning.
Mm-hmm. No, she is better.
Not as fast as I wish I could be. So, oui, mon nom est français et je parle français. Je suis de Québec. Je parle français un peu. Aussi.
Yeah, whatever you just said. I
said I speak a little bit of French.
Yes.
Too.
No.
See, I took 6 years of French in high school. I'm not going to say I'm fluent right now. I was in high school, but that was 1987. And when you do not have anyone to speak a foreign language with for, 40 years, you don't remember all of it.
Some people would say trying to speak to me is a foreign language, but you've done that for a long time.
And I've also dabbled with a little bit of Italian. So what happens to me? So really your name is, I've been saying Denise, but you're in Quebec, so your name is Denis. I have been, part of my struggle with learning Spanish is sometimes I will substitute French words because it's what comes to my mind. For example, instead of saying es verdad, I would say, oh, c'est vraiment. I'm getting better at not doing that, but it's hard because I want to do that. This word pops in my head. I know it's not English, and I'll just say it, and then I realize it's French.
All right, you just fake it till you make it. I mean, that's it really. I mean,
I know.
And okay, first of all, we got to give a little plug here, just because. Hola, Lisa, y feliz cumpleaños.
Sí, feliz cumpleaños.
We are learning using expat Spanish, and Amy and Denise are phenomenal.
They are.
We have a link on our page, and
there it is.
they're great. I mean, and I have learned a lot in working with them on this, and so has Gina. Gina has gotten noticeably better with their teaching style. But I'm in level 6 now, and there are people who, I'm not calling out any names because I don't want to do that, who are afraid of saying the wrong thing, and they're saying it incorrectly. And I got it. Like I said, I got to give Tom, credit here, because when we met him, he came down to see us in Progreso. Miss you, buddy. When you coming back down? Anyway, he said, "You fake it till you make it." and we're sort of going, yeah, well, whatever. And of course, then we're walking down, the Malecon with Tom, and first of all, he blew us away when he orders in Spanish, and we're eating with it, and it's just like, what? And then we're walking down the Malecon, and all of a sudden, somebody comes up and starts speaking to him in Spanish, and he just answers them in German. And we're like, what? And we go down, and he goes, yeah, if I don't want to talk to him, I just answer them in German, and they just leave me alone. And it's like, but he goes, you fake it till you make it.
Yes.
And the thing I took, I mean, I don't know if this is the way he meant it, but the way I took it and interpreted it and have rolled with it is that I'm going to say it, and I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to make mistakes, but I'm going to use it. And the people here have been phenomenal. If I screw something up, guess what?
What?
They go, here's the right way of saying it. Okay. But they appreciate the effort. And I learn more probably from having conversations with them. They reinforce what I've learned from Denise and Amy. So, if you're looking to learn Spanish, that is our recommendation.
Yes, we're having a good time with it, and we're learning a lot more than we were.
I mean, Duolingo, good for learning vocabulary, but you're not going to learn Mexican Spanish.
What is that?
Oh
no! Happy birthday, Lisa. It's your 60th today. What?
Girl, you got a ways to catch up.
Yeah.
Not that ever occurs. Well, it may, when you finally stop counting your birthdays, then you can catch up. But, I don't plan on doing that anytime soon.
No, I guess not. Hola, Melicomani. Nice to have you here. Bienvenidos. Okay. Estoy viviendo en Oaxaca desde más que 10 años. No hablo bien inglés. But what?
You got that?
I am living in Oaxaca since for 10 years.
Very good.
See, I'm getting it. My Spanish is such that if I read it, I can figure it out. But if I have to make a sentence, I just freeze. Also, if I'm listening to someone speak, I'm at that stage where I have to hear every single word and then I'm translating it in my head, one word at a time. It's not just
and the problem
immediately happening.
And the problem there is you're still working on the words 1, 2, and 3, and they're on word 10.
Right.
And so, one of the great things is actually as you get to the point where you might understand 30, 40, 50% of the words, the brain actually starts to fill in because you're going, all right, what they're saying is logic. It happens with Letty all the time. She's today, she came to clean. The toilet was broken. And she comes out and starts rattling off to me, es un temporal, and goes on. And she temporarily fixed it until the guy can come over to do the repair on the toilet. And so, it's like, okay, I actually thought that the hearing was actually going to be the hardest part because of expat Spanish. Actually, I think I have now understand it reading and hearing more than I do the freezing on the speaking.
Yep. And so, Denis, Piero, tu parles français. See, tu parles français. And you are welcome, Lisa. And Tom says, great people born on this day.
¿Es tu cumpleaños también?
No, his friend. It's his best friend's birthday. And tomorrow is my ex-husband's birthday. I'll probably have to send him a Facebook message or something, right?
Yeah, that's up to you.
I know.
Yeah.
How do y'all think you will adjust to being in one place for 6 months after being on the road for 2 years? I think we will have no problem with that for a couple reasons. We have been getting tired. It's harder and harder to pack up and move, and it takes it out of you. The energy is just, it takes a lot of energy to pack up all your things, get it into the vehicle, get to where you need to be, unpack it all, and hope that it's not 2 flights of stairs or whatnot. Like we've had a few that have been very hard to do.
Moving day is the most stressful effing day on our relationship every effing time.
Yeah.
Because
rough.
Because it's okay, I gotta get all the stuff in here. And several times, be it illness, broken arm, whatever. I mean, it's sort of fallen.
It has. But I promise it. I don't plan these things.
But
I mean, I've had COVID. I've had a broken arm. I had GI issue. I mean,
I'm not saying you're intentionally doing it,
but it's weird. And a lot of this has fallen on him.
And then what happens is I get cranky because I'm tired. I mean, just loading the car, getting all the stuff to the car, getting it in the car, getting it in the roof bag, getting it all ready so we can pull out. And then the GPS here in Mexico is not the greatest. And so it's always she does navigation because if I'm wearing polarized glasses, I can't see the screen. And so I'm counting on her to tell me when to turn. And then all of a sudden she gets the notification to turn after we pass the damn exit. And then it's, and then it snowballs. Every time it snowballs. I'm looking for one thing. Did you see the car over there? Yes, I saw the car over there. I'm just trying to help you. And then it and just blows up. And that literally is the most stressful time we have.
It is. And he's when he talks, he doesn't do it intentionally, but he's very short in the way that he'll address things,
especially when I'm stressed.
And when he's stressed out, it's even worse. So yeah.
And so and then it's like, all right, I'm just not going to say a thing, but I need you to tell me when to turn. And boom, 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 boom. And so that to not have to worry about that for 6 months, and to be able to almost totally unpack.
Yeah.
And go, because there's things that we have brought. Some of the things still won't be unpacked, which, okay, that's fine, because they're not going to be used. There's no point in unpacking them. But suitcase wise, I mean, it's like, take every bit of clothing out, hang it up, put it in a dresser, put it here, and know that, okay, we can go to the grocery store. We can buy all these things. We can buy we can buy a 3 or 4 month supply of something, instead of now we go, are we going to use it in the time we're here? Well, and especially if it's something that had to be kept cold. Well, we only have one cooler, and so
it's just a logistical nightmare.
Yeah,
it really is.
It's probably more information y'all wanted to know.
We had a whole lot more energy when we first started it, but it is wearing on us. So we're looking forward to having that break.
We were also younger. I mean, and that sounds okay. You're saying that you get older, the years add more.
Yeah.
I mean, 1 year at 55 is not the same year as 1 year at 65. I mean,
well, I mean, it's going to be nice to just be someplace and be able to take that break and not have to worry about packing up again so soon. It's going to fly anyway. We know it's going to fly.
Always does.
There's also the fact that we do have a lot of friends in Querétaro. So, and everybody's going to want to hang out. So we're going to be busy.
And we want to hang out.
And I'm really hoping that by this time, I have got my name in the hat for at least 3 different jobs right now. So I'm hoping by that time I'm going to have a job, which means I'm going to be busy anyway. And yes, that's right. You and Mark, Tom, you and Mark have a birthday that is a day apart. I remember that. Oh, Spanish time. Oh my. Okay. Acabamos de llegar. So we've arrived in La Paz, and we are, let me think, mundando. So our new home. Okay. And if you come for a visit in the future, nos here, let's see if Mark can figure out the rest of this. Do it, Mark.
Acabamos de llegar a La Paz y nos estamos mudando a nuestro nuevo hogar. Si vienes a visitarnos en el futuro, nos reuniremos y nos saludaremos. If you're coming to La Paz, oh God.
See, but they arrived at La Paz.
Right.
Okay.
Well, Llegar. And yes, we are going to be going to La Paz. And if you're coming visit in the future, reuniremos is meeting.
Oh, okay.
And saludaremos is greetings. So,
okay, cool. Yay! It's tough here. The kids want us to speak English because they want to practice. They even send their kids to work here in order to become fluent. Yeah.
Well, and that makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
Europe has been doing that for decades. Decades. Europe saw that English was going to be the predominant language of business. And because of the power of the UK and the power of the United States. And it was amazing. I was a sales manager for a company, and we had customers all over the world, and I could call any place.
Be careful.
I'm going to be careful. And I would just, get on the phone and go, I'm calling from the United States. Is there someone who speaks English? And invariably somebody would jump on there and go, yes, I speak English. Can I help you? And it happened in Czechoslovakia. I had customers there, and, Holland, all of Scandinavia. I was blown away. So, oh, sorry about that.
Yeah, church bells are ringing. And the fireworks are going off.
But yeah, so that it totally makes sense. And the property manager, her children want to practice their English with us.
Oh yeah, yeah, they're very good at it too.
They're young. The minds are still able to.
Their minds are still spongy.
Yes, because when Letty cleaned the house today, she didn't come last week. Normally she comes every week to pick up the trash, and she didn't come last week to pick up the trash. So there's a lot of trash bags, which no big deal for us. We're not worried about it. But she called her son to come over and help, and he's, hey,
I didn't even see
hello.
him. How did I miss him?
He was outside
when
when she was leaving.
Okay.
And I put it out there. I went, thank you. He goes, oh, thank you.
Her husband speaks a little bit of English too. Yeah. Okay. So, Alfredo, say what? It seems to me that anything below Mexico City will just be too hot. Why not stay around the highlands? That's why I'm sticking to BCS. I love heat and hate the humidity. Well, some of the places that we like the most are in the highlands.
I would say that we don't have the heat and humidity here in Oaxaca. I'll make that statement right now.
Well, we weren't here in the summer.
Well, we got here at the end of the summer, but
it was pretty warm in about April and May. It gets pretty warm here.
It's hard for us to comprehend that, because you when you come down here, you literally have to shift the body clock.
About 2 months.
Because the heat hits 2 months before.
Yeah.
What we're used to.
So we really weren't here for summer. It does get warm here. It does get hot, but it's not as hot as, for example, Huatulco. Huatulco was hot. Merida was hot. Progreso was hot. El Tejar was hot. So, yeah. And, we're still not ruling Huatulco completely out, because it was just a really good feeling there, even though it was, though it was miserably hot. There's still a really nice vibe there. So, but yeah, 2 of the places so far are in the highlands that we're really considering, and that would be Querétaro and San Luis Potosí. And yeah, but even this past summer, those places got hot too.
Well, this was sort of an outlier. So
it was.
Yeah.
That could be the new norm for all we know. So, the government controls the weather.
Let's not go there.
I just had to say it.
Next.
I just had to say it.
God.
Tom, I forgot to ask you about his channel. He said something about a meetup in San Miguel de Allende. If so, when and where? You guys better be there if there is. We will be there, but we don't know when or where.
I can give you more of an information than that. Because the person that he was talking to about doing that is there from, I think, sometime in January, up through, if I remember right, February 19th. So it'd be sometime, if I had to hazard a guess, either late January, early February. And yes, we will be in Querétaro for that, and we can make that drive up there, because from where we're going to be, it's going to be about an hour, because we're going to be a little bit further south when we were in Zakia. So yeah, that would be about an hour up to SMA.
I think longer. About an hour and a half,
give or take.
Yeah.
And yeah, if you want to come down, Tom, we got 3 bedrooms in the house.
We have a townhouse.
We have a townhouse in Querétaro.
3 stories with a rooftop, 3 bedrooms. It's just us.
Yeah. So, yes, we plan. It's been, 2 years now since we've seen Ernie, basically. And,
it has.
And it's been, by that time, it'll be almost 3 years since we did the first interview with Ernie. So, yeah, it'd be good to see, our amigo.
And there it is. Mark, you were right. I think I was kind of half right, too. I just got kind of lost at the end. So.
And we will be in La Paz. That would be, I'd say about 20 months from now. If my memory of our itinerary. Hola, Joan.
Hola, Joan from Alberta. All right. Thank you for joining us tonight. Is Huatulco hot year-round? Yes.
Yeah. I mean, literally, if you go and look at the spread, it's amazing. It goes down 1, maybe 2 degrees in the winter and goes up 1, maybe 2 degrees in the summer. It's just.
I think it might be less humid in the winter months. And so that makes it more comfortable. But it is hot year round. It is.
Yeah.
And in the summer, it's like, okay, so let me tell you what it was in the summer. I'm trying to think in terms of Celsius right now, but in Fahrenheit, it was in the 90s, and the humidity was 60% to 80% humidity. So with the humidity, the heat index was at times 120, 130. I want to say, what is that in Celsius? Like, I think that's the high 40s.
Hot.
High 40s
Hot.
in Celsius. And
Hot.
Then the heat index, it was really hot.
Hot.
I couldn't stand in the bathroom for 10 minutes and not have sweat running down my back. It was just hot. Hot. All the time.
I mean, it's.
You need to have air conditioning.
No.
Yeah.
Yes, that is without a doubt. And where you are in Huatulco, I honestly believe makes a huge difference. Because when we were at Don and Lisa's house, they had a breeze, and it was so much more comfortable.
Oh.
La Crucecita, there was no air movement, and it was just stifling.
Yeah.
Yes, it was Stephanie.
It was Stephanie. So it's going to be amazing.
Oh, I did get the February 19th.
Very
right.
good. Very good. So yes, we will be in that area around that time. It's not that big of a deal to drive up to San Miguel. And besides, I like San Miguel. I love San Miguel. I just don't want to live there.
Nope.
But I do like it, and I love it. It's a great place to go, just to see a festival, a weekend stay,
and the culture around. I mean, I mean, the culture there is phenomenal. You're 30 minutes from Dolores Hidalgo, which is definitely, Stephanie, when you go to SMA, you have to go.
Oh gosh,
to Dolores Hidalgo.
They have a great mercado and street vendors, and oh my gosh, and the ice cream in Dolores Hidalgo. Oh,
and if you're gonna have lunch, go to Fruity.
So good, so good.
We went to Fruity twice, and we weren't even in the city. We went to the city 2-3 times, whatever. Twice we ate at Fruity. I mean, so
No, I think Dolores Hidalgo was really interesting. And it's pretty. And that got the Talavera pottery.
Yeah. Yep.
And which we didn't even get to see. Okay, look, Wilfredo, you are not expats. You are nomads for sure. Well, one could say, Wilfredo, that the very definition of an expat is one who temporarily lives in a country without the intention of staying there permanently.
You had to go there.
I'm just saying.
No, I'm talking about Wilfredo. I'm you had to go there.
So in theory, being nomadic really is what an expat technically being.
I'm not going to argue with that.
But you know, one of these days when we do finally settle down and we do become permanent residents, we won't be calling ourselves expats anymore, because that's where immigrant,
they were residents.
That's where immigrant comes in. Someone who permanently decides to remain a resident in a foreign country without intention of returning to their home country. So,
no, that's
yeah.
You know, that's,
and I don't. We get a lot of people throwing that at us, and
not many
semantics. Not a lot. No, that's true.
I mean, when we finally decide where we're going to toss out the anchor, then
we'll drop the whole expat thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Except on here, because it's in our logo. So
in theory, snowbirds really are expats, because snowbirds return to their home country. So that's not us, though.
Okay.
We're nomadic. I'm planning to go to Huatulco with my niece in January. I love heat. It gets too cold here.
Boy,
well, I understand why you say that. Yes. Yes. January, though.
Alberta, no less.
Absolutely. We heard, we were in Huatulco in the off season, and we heard that we literally had just missed what they call the snowbird season.
And a lot of it is Canadian.
There's a lot of Canadian people who
in
are
Huatulco.
there in Huatulco during the winter, and that's understandable, honestly. I would get tired of the cold too. And I think maybe it's easier to be there during those months. I don't really know. I just know summer in Huatulco was like Satan's armpit. I'm just saying that.
If you like heat and you want heat, go to Huatulco, because it's like being in an oven.
And there you go. It's 12 degrees Celsius now and freezing overnight.
You up there with the Oilers? The hockey team, Edmonton, Alberta. I mean, because the further north you go, when you start getting, that's like, ooh, wow.
Yeah.
I mean, there's Edmonton, or Alberta has Calgary and Edmonton, I think, are both in there. So it's like, yikes.
So those temps are Orlando temps. The Huatulco temps I was talking about. Yeah, I've heard that.
New Orleans, Houston,
and again, Veracruz.
That whole Gulf Coast, get close to the water, get a little bit of extra humidity in the air, and you're like,
Yep. And we bought towel there. Yes, I didn't get a chance to visit the Talavera vendors. I wanted to. That's one of the biggest things they're known about. So.
I mean, if we go back up for let's say they have a weekend thing up there, about an hour away from Edmonton. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
That means you're far enough north that it's
look, it's cold between Oilers and Flames,
between Calgary and Edmonton. That if we go back up there, we will contact our host that we had in San Miguel de Allende, and see if we may be able to use that for a weekend or something. And if Tom
it's available, though.
I'm just saying, if it's available, if Tom happens to be there, or if Annie Vet and Arlene want to go up, we can just now we got a nice little landing spot.
Yeah, that was a 3-bedroom.
Yep.
Each of the bedrooms had king beds.
Yep.
It was a nice place. It was a really nice place. Although I do believe her intention was to.
I'm just saying we would reach out. That's all.
Yes, that's all. Hi, Bob. Good to see you both. Thank you. It's good to see you on here too. Canada has direct flights from several cities to Huatulco. Yeah, that makes sense. And that right there explains to me why it is such a hot spot for Canadians in the winter. They've got direct flights.
Direct flight makes all the difference in the world.
Easy. Absolutely. And the cold sucks. No lie. I thought about retiring in Minnesota. Oh, Lord. Look at his face.
What?
And then I looked at their temperatures. It's not the fact it's cold. It's that cold for that long. Yeah.
I was in the photo industry, and the photo industry is basically based in 2 places: New York, Minnesota. And all my friends who worked for the Minnesota companies, they all said We have 2 seasons. We have winter and road repair. And that was it. I mean,
that sounds like ice road truckers.
6 weeks of road repair, and we're right back in the winter. So
oh
yeah,
man, and there you go, talking about photo. You were in photography. Do you have a teaching bug? Would you consider teaching your craft?
I have.
He has.
I've taught it. Oh my God, for years.
He used to teach it at the store where he was a manager.
Used to teach it at the art center in
Mid
Mid
Hill
Hill.
Arts.
Yep. Because one of the things that artists are tasked with doing is creating original.
You taught a class on the cruise.
I taught a class on a cruise one time for. Yeah, I mean, I have no problem. I mean, it's. And I'm one of the ones that if you want to learn photography, it's sort of like I'm going to hand you photography for dummies, because I that's my teaching style. Is I'm not a technical person as far as that goes. It's a relatively simple way of doing things, and it's an algebraic equation. If you change one thing, then something else must change. But I can do it in a camera. She can fix it if I screw it up. That's, I mean,
yeah,
that's the way it is. But yeah, no, I mean, if you have questions about that, I'd be more than happy to help you out on that.
So, Wilfredo, you already know you're going to be in La Paz in 20 months from now. So you are moving every so often. Where are you going to be between now and La Paz? It could potentially still be massaged a little, but obviously we're going to be in Querétaro.
Well, Pueblo.
And Puebla, then Querétaro. At the moment, we still have Zihuatanejo on here, Manzanillo. We got the Lake Chapala region.
Guadalajara.
We're going to go back to San Luis Potosí for a little bit of a longer stay as well, because we didn't stay long enough there to really make a good impression. Guadalajara, Puerto Vallarta.
We were thinking Zihuatanejo, but we're not sure if that's going to remain because of the massage.
There's some things that are moving around. Sayulita and Mazatlan, some of that
might be compressed a little bit. And then Mazatlan is a must because that's where we're going to catch the ferry to go over to La Paz. So
yeah,
whether that's 2 weeks, which we really don't want to do, because if we're going to go someplace, we want to be there.
We want to be there for at least a month,
right?
Minimum a month,
right?
So there may be some lengthening and shortening of a couple places. We had San Jose del Cabo on there.
No, we decided that we were just going to get to La Paz, and then we were going to go to Loreto and San Jose del Cabos as day trips or weekends.
It hasn't been updated.
Right. But I mean, originally we were going to do
on it.
Originally we were going to do a long stay on BCS and do all 3 of them. And I was trying to see if I could work it out. We could be in Cabo for Sammy's birthday and stand in line and go to Cabo Wabo, but that just didn't work.
No, the pool will be built by then.
Well, see, there we go.
Perfect. Photography. Do you think full frame camera is worth the weight difference when traveling when compared to what you get from a 4/3?
Nope.
Would you like to?
I don't think. Well, personally, Jesse, my biggest thing with that is, all right, hold on. Let me back up here for a second. I'm old school. You say full frame, I'm thinking of 645, 6.6, 6.7, and you're talking 35 millimeter full frame. No. The advantages that you get out of, especially, and I grew up when I shot film, I shot Canon. And when we got married, she looked in my camera bag and went, "Oh my God, how how much gear do you have?
Enough.
And I had lenses out the wazoo for all my Canon. And then I withheld going digital to the longest point. I mean, and I'm in the industry and everything else. When it finally reached the point where I'm going, every time I push the shutter button on a piece of film, it's costing me $1. Wasted shot, good shot, didn't matter. It was $1. And as I saw the quality of digital getting better and better and better and better, I went, economically, it makes no sense. Then when we decided to move down here, I had 2 Sony A77s, a 70-200 2.8, a 24-70 2.8, a 51.2. I mean, I had all the gear. And I went, don't want to carry it. I mean, we went to Alaska and on a cruise, and I carried the 24-70 and a 200-300. I mean, I carried way too much gear. But as Sony has perfected their E-series, you can't beat it. You really can't. And if it was me, I would spend the money on the glass versus spending the money on the sensor. And if you start down the road, well, let's say you want to go with a Sony E-series body and put a 24-70 E-series lens on top of a 70-200 and 2 good prime lenses, be it a 35, a 50, or an 85, you're golden. And the best thing that you can invest in is lighting. That's and that's where I would recommend is if I were, which eventually we're hoping I'm gonna be able to start this all again. And if it were me right now, I would be going, okay, I'm going with one of the not the A7 or not the A7, the 7 M7 series. I would start with one of the 4/3 series or APS-C, and with the APS-C, I would get the quality glass first, build the glass, swap the body at the end.
Wow.
Just short answer.
I'm going to say real quickly here. I just want to say, hasta luego, Manny.
Hasta luego.
Thank you for joining us tonight. Let's see. So, Terry, I was in the Army and stationed in Fairbanks, Alaska. We had temps in 40 below. Froze my butt off the first year.
Oh, hell no.
Let me just explain something for a minute. Now, are you talking about Celsius?
No, Fahrenheit.
Fahrenheit. I lived outside of Pittsburgh, and we often would have days that were colder than Alaska in Pittsburgh. I'm not even kidding. I remember one time we had 50 below, and we had to keep going out and warming up the car.
Yeah, when they say that when they would do that in Pittsburgh, we both lived in Pittsburgh.
Yeah,
and they would say that they're normally talking about the Juneau area and down on the thing. You start talking about the Fairbanks and Anchorage.
Well,
they like to say that because it made them feel good in Pittsburgh. But when you start talking about Fairbanks and Anchorage, no. Pittsburgh.
Who is they? I actually looked this up myself to see what the temperature was.
The people on the media doing the meteorology reports. They would say, "Oh, today in Juneau it was 2 degrees warmer." Well, they didn't look at Fairbanks. So no, what she's talking about, what Terry's talking about, it was cold.
It was so damn cold in Pittsburgh that roads turned to ruts of ice.
Pittsburgh, the coldest it ever was when the sun shined. I mean, that's. I honestly had a person in my office that made the most profound statement I ever heard, and she goes, "If an alien ever landed in Pittsburgh in the wintertime, they would swear that bright object in the sun was freezing cold because the coldest days were when it was bright and sunny."
It was bad. You wouldn't think it'd be so cold, but it would get cold. And You're very welcome, Jesse. He is a wealth of knowledge, and what he just said to you, I caught about this much of it. I tried to learn the whole thing about shutter speeds and aperture settings, and I can't. I just can't.
Glass, lighting, body. That's the way to build a set, because the glass is the key. I mean, you can't do anything. You can have a $5,000 body on a camera body. And if you're shooting through a $150 lens, it looks like crap. If you have a $150 camera body and shooting through a $5,000 lens, it's not the same way. So it's just spend the money first on the glass and then build the body.
So I just had to look this up real quick because I didn't know where this was. So driving the Dalton Highway in my bucket list.
Where the hell is the Dalton
Well,
Highway?
that's what I just looked up. The James W. Dalton Highway, usually referred to as the Dalton Highway, is a 414-mile road in Alaska, beginning at the Elliott Highway north of Fairbanks and ends at Dead Horse near the Arctic Ocean.
There's a short time frame to make that drive.
Yeah.
And then you got to drive back down.
True.
Because you're up there at the Arctic Circle. That's not a quick drive back.
No, it isn't. Ice road truckers. We get those temps here too. You walk outside and it takes your breath away. So we're moving to Mexico.
Get that totally, Stephanie. I mean, that's,
Yep.
And I used to think these people, that in the photo industry, we meet, for PMA, Photo Marketing Association convention, every February. And every 2 years, it had to be 2 years in Vegas, then moved to moved to New Orleans for 2 years, Atlanta for 2 years. But every 2 years, it had to be for 2 years back in Vegas. And these people in the industry from Minnesota, we go play an annual golf tournament. And the rest of us normal people are wearing, sweaters, windbreakers.
I've seen the pictures
and everything else.
Yeah.
And the people from Minnesota are in shorts. And it's like, are you people for real? And they're like, oh man, this is killer weather. And I'm like, yeah.
You get acclimated to it. It's 72 right now and dark. It's dark here too. I don't think it's 72.
I don't think so.
No. It's probably in the 60s if I had to take a guess. I'll look real quick here.
68.
67. How'd you know 68?
68.
Oh, your skin. It's 67 here right now and dark. And you're very welcome, Doug. He knows his stuff. He knows his stuff.
God, I would hope so. After so many years, I hope that some of it would have stuck. But if anybody has any questions about gear or anything like that, feel free, shoot it at me. I can give you, the reason that I am a Sony fan, and a lot of people go, they're latecomers into the industry and everything else, because there's Canon, there's Nikon, there's Leica, there's da-da-da-da. 2 companies in the world manufacture the sensors. One of them is Canon, and Canon only makes sensors for themselves. The rest of the photo industry is serviced by Sony.
Yep.
Sony makes the sensors for the rest of the photographic industry. And in my professional opinion, the quality that I got off of Sony, I liked a lot, and they were not quite as expensive as Canon was. And then they came out with the E series a lot faster than, or the mirrorless system, as they call it, faster than Canon did. And they have perfected that mirrorless program. And the nice part about the mirrorless program is that because it lacks the mirror, the only reason they ever put a mirror in the camera, if you guys are interested in this, I'll tell you, they put a mirror in the camera because when they first came out with digital cameras, people weren't going to buy them unless they had the same feel as a film camera, because you couldn't change the muscle memory. They wanted that familiarity of having that grip on the side, having the button right there on the top. And they knew that if they were going to get people to convert, they had to be comfortable with it in their hands. So they did that, and that put the depth and everything else. They put the mirror in there, and the mirror had to rise to get out of the way for the image to get through to the sensor. Sony came out with the pass-through mirror system, and that changed the whole world. And that was on the Sony A series, which was I had the A77, and that was one of the very best of that particular. And then they finally just went, throw our hands up, we're going to the mirrorless, and take the mirror out. It became a lot thinner. The lenses became shorter because they didn't have as much depth that they had to project to. And so that now takes what I used to carry around when we went to Alaska was almost a 40-pound.
Gosh, it was huge.
It was a 40-pound camera bag.
Yeah.
And in moving to the mirrorless system, that suddenly became, instead of 40 pounds, it came around 18 to 20 pounds. And that makes all the difference in the world. And you're getting exactly the same quality because it's going to exactly the same sensor.
Boom.
Boom.
And so Doug says, thanks for the photo equipment info. There you go.
I'm more than just a pretty face.
I drove from Fairbanks to El Paso. Oh, man.
Holy
Holy
shit.
Anybody know what that's from? Holy shit. Wow. Guess that movie. Yes, the peso was up to 19.91. I just checked and it's down to just a smidge above 19.89 at the moment.
I don't think you're going to see any movement on that in the next 3 weeks.
It's been going up and down daily.
But it's going to hang in that area for the next 3 weeks.
I think I saw it at like 19.3 earlier this month, but it goes up and down all the time, but it's staying in the 19s.
A hell of a lot better than what it was at 16s and 17s.
That's true. It's going down to 50 degrees here tonight. Here too. That's the nightly in Oaxaca City. It's 50 at night. I've already put the mattress heater on the mattress. Oh no.
Yeah, but Jesse, you don't have to get up and stroll through the Jardine to go to the head.
Yeah, we're in that unique situation where we have to walk outside into the Jardine to get to the bathroom at night. So yeah, you crawl out of that nice toasty bed and then that 50, 55, 57 hits you. And if it's raining, it's even worse. It's going to rain, I think either Saturday or I think Sunday. It's predicted to start raining again. But I think rainy season's over here. But when it's that cold and raining, oof, it's even worse. But, yeah, okay, he stepped out. I'm going to leave this up for a minute so he can see this. You know, I tried to learn how to use SLR and DSLR, and I had this Canon point and shoot that just took absolutely fabulous photos that I loved. And I could take it to a concert, and because it did not have a removable lens, I could get it into the concert. And I could zoom in on a person's hand on their guitar and just take some amazing photos with that camera. It was just I'm sorry I don't even have it anymore because the one we got to replace it with doesn't even do nearly as good a job. So thank you for the information. Just
Were you talking about the Sony P60?
No,
I know, but you were talking about the Sony, the P60.
Yeah,
it
was a Sony. It wasn't a Canon. It was a Sony.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm actually going to give you guys a link if you're interested in looking at my concert photos that I used to take with this little point and shoot camera that just did amazing photos. I'm trying to get to my site. There it is. And I will post that in the chat if you're interested. And
yes, Doug, that was my camera body, AE1.
Yeah. There you go.
That was it. I had two bodies and about 8, 9 lenses, and that I accumulated over the years, and loved that camera. Absolutely did not want to give it up. And finally, when I went digital, because and Canon made a fatal mistake on this one. Canon they moved the sensor.
Oh.
And when they moved the sensor, they moved it just enough so that the optical lenses from the film cameras were going to be out of focus on the digital cameras because they wanted to be able to sell all new glass. I get it. Makes sense. But the problem is people like me, I had a collection of it. I couldn't use it. So guess what? Now I'm going, all right, am I going to go Canon, stay with them, Nikon, never. And that was just me being a Canon person. Couldn't go Nikon. Nikon makes a good product. Sony, Panasonic, Sam sucks. Love my Samsung phone. They made a shitty camera. Whatever. And so in looking at all of what was coming down the road, it was suddenly like, okay, hold on now. Who has made a living out of electronics? Because we're no longer talking about cameras. We're talking about electronics because that's basically what they were and what they are. And so it was like, and got an opportunity to shoot some Sony and went, yeah, that's where I went. And I got in earlier than what I should have, because if I had it to do over again, I would have gotten into the mirrorless system instead of getting into I would have gotten into the E series instead of the A series. And I got into the A series heavily. And once you're into one, they don't intermatch. You're down one road. So
there you go. Oh, and I forgot to mention on that video that you two need a pee bucket by the bed.
All right. In full disclosure, there have been times where I have not made it all the way across the Hardin.
Really? Oh, God. Oh, I'm glad I don't know where you made it to.
There's a reason you don't know.
Hey, Winston. Terry and I are looking forward to seeing you on the 29th. Dude, we are so ready for you. And I'm going to send you some links to some planned tours to see if you're interested in any of them, because there's some we want to do, but we want to include you and Terry if you're interested. And then if you're not interested in it, we will just plan them for ourselves. Yeah. So we thought it'd be cool to see if you were interested in doing some of these. Like, I'm sure we'll find a good mezcal tour, or there's Monte Aban, and then there's the one with the tree. I think it's Toluca or Tule, things like that. So I'll send you all that. And Doug, OnePlus for Canon cameras, you get a decent, compact, waterproof housing for scuba kayaking. Yeah.
Again, you don't go wrong either way. With me, it's more of okay, this is my preference. Yes, there is more aftermarket equipment available because Canon has had those relationships for decades. And so the accessories have been made. Sony is not quite as open as far as wanting to share a lot of that stuff. And so there are some problems there. There's also been problems in the past with if you are an Apple person.
Oh, yeah.
If you are an Apple person, Sony does not always play well with Apple.
Yeah.
They have just, Apple goes, we have this proprietary and you're going to make it this way. And Sony goes, we're proprietary and we're going to make it this way. And the two of them will not talk. I mean, it's a pain in the ass to try and transfer your product from one to the other. If you are not an Apple person, Sony makes it so easy to be able to transfer files. Gina would sit there and
you could do it on your phone.
We'd be on a cruise and she would just put her phone right next to it because they have NFC, which is near field connection. And you put the NFC app on your phone, the Sony app on your phone, you touch NFC, you touch the NFC on the camera, and you just put the two of them in close proximity, and there goes your stuff showing right up on your phone. And so there's a plus and minuses for both.
And yay, Winston, yay! We're looking forward to it. All right, I'm liking the hat. There you go. We'll definitely be looking for me a new one when I get down there.
This is anything but new.
I ordered that hat for you on Amazon from a kangaroo company from Australia. That is a kangaroo hat.
Brahma.
Yep.
Yeah. And I've had it now for 20 years.
I can't believe it's been that long, but yeah.
I mean, this hat has been to Europe and back, and and it used to be all that color brown, and that is just years and years and years of sweat. And and I mean,
I offered to use like some essential oils or something on it to stain it for him, but he's like, no.
I mean, the best part about this is actually, I mean, when we went to the last one big holiday, we were there and I'm at the swim up bar and I got my hat on, and this Air Force colonel comes up to me and he goes, "That hat has a story."
Yeah, it does.
I was like, yes, it does, And then I found out, he was a colonel in the Air Force. And I was like, yes, sir, it does. Actually, this has been to Normandy and back and, all those great places. And so, it's one of those. The only question is, I think it's shrinking because I know it's not my hair getting any longer.
Well,
it's filling.
It is a leather, and leather does shrink.
Yes. And so it's a little tight on the noggin now, but, will I replace it?
Well, we could. Eventually,
we could, but
if you wanted a new one,
I just soon keep
Terry,
the one.
Terry says it adds character. Yeah, but it looks dirty, Terry. It looks dirty, and you can see like the salt from the sweat stain ringing around the back. It's like salty.
And as Terry says, that adds character. Yeah.
Okay.
So.
All right. It has been almost 2.5 hours. So I think we're going to wrap it up. And I'm going to let you guys know as soon as we figure out the schedule. Again, and Winston just reminded me, they're going to be here the 29th. Now, 2 weeks from now normally would be the 30th. But we're going to have guests here.
No, we won't. Oh, that's right. They arrive on the 29th. Yes, they will.
We're going to have guests here. And 2, that parade with the children for Dia de los Muertos will be coming through on that night. So I'm not sure if we're just going to skip a week and just come in a week later.
Or we just do it when we get to Pueblo. Just throwing that out there.
I'm just saying, I don't know yet. we'll have to let you guys know in advance as soon as we figure it out. So thank you. Yes, Jesse. Night. Thank you
Good
all
night.
for joining. We sure do
get in your warm bed.
That's right,
Jesse, with the heater going.
We sure do love having you guys on here and just sharing what's going on in our weird little wonky nudist barefooted adventures.
Right.
Things that happen.
We can't make this up.
No,
it just sort of happens.
So we will see you guys again maybe in 3 weeks. Probably not in 2. Typically 2, probably 3 weeks this time. But we'll
depends on all what the Dia de los Muertos schedule is like.
Absolutely. Good night to Terry. Good night. Thank you. And Stephanie. Thank you, guys. Have a great few weeks. Hope you like Halloween and it's spooky and fun and you get your kicks out of that. I love Halloween personally. Fall colors, all those good things. This is a good time of the year for the pumpkin spice, the spiced cider. Autumnal.
The pumpkin spice.
The autumnal. I want to find autumnal cider. Remember that Budweiser? Do you have an autumnal cider?
Bud.
All right, guys. Bruno, Lena, thank you. Have
Adios.
a great night. We'll see you in a few weeks. Adios.
Enjoy